You may think that Gohan training with the Supreme Kai early would change everything and make things better, however, it actually makes things worse, and you may not believe me. However, Krillin has been extremely insecure in the series, and it's possible that he could go Majin due to this. This is the fourth part of a mega what if that I've been creating for the past couple months, so go check out the link in the description for the playlist. Let's get into the story. After the exciting Cell games began with Gohan defeating Cell and then Moro nearly defeating everybody until Broly's awakening, and in the end, Gohan was actually able to become the victor of the Cell games and prove why he's the strongest on Earth. However, somebody else has had issues. Krillin, without 18, he's gone crazy, remembering the death of Yajirobe, the last of his friends, and now he has no one as he's been image training with an image of Goku. However, thanks to his high prestige in his own mind, Goku always defeats him. As Krillin is training, somebody attacks with an elbow, Dabura, as he attacks with all of his power, and Krillin seemingly is about to lose until he powers up to his full abilities and actually starts to overwhelm Dabura with his strikes and kicks and with powerful blows. As it's seemingly about to be the defeat of Dabura, Babidi would then tune in and see the fight and see how Krillin's actually about to win, and shocked about how his incredible power is actually getting the advantage over Dabura, as he looks at Krillin and then sees that he's the perfect vessel for something. It's been a year since the events of the Cell Saga, and Gohan and Goten have been sparring as Goten's gotten way stronger and Gohan is still getting a bit stronger. He's seemingly hitting a limit as Chi-Chi decides to join in the training to stop stuff like what happened in the Cell games from happening again. As they continue to train, we move to Capsule Corp, to the guilty Broly, who feels bad for the death of Yajirobe and has been training alone, but someone's had an interest in him and is kind of mad that he's just walking in, which is Bulma. However, somebody arrives, somebody powerful, a member of the Galactic Patrol, Miris, as he attacks him with Jocko the Patrolman, and Broly's able to easily hold them off, though Patrolman in Miris then uses his laser shotgun to actually hit Broly and stun him, allowing them to take him away. Gohan still starts high school and does pretty well and makes a bunch of friends, even though he is kind of bullied, as he gets a three-way love triangle, lucky bastard, as he then heads to school one day. However, instead in this, he actually gets teleported away to a strange world and begins to fight, landing a barrage of hits onto the two opponents, as he gets nervous and transforms into Super Saiyan, landing a kick and then attacking with many hits, as the two aren't able to keep up, as Gohan is far too strong in this timeline, being far stronger than his canon self, as he lands a powerful barrage of hits before landing an uppercut onto Kibito. As he's then about to finish the fight with a Kamehameha, Supreme Kai stops it, teleporting in front of him and being happy with his strength. Though Kibito isn't happy, as he's angry at the strength of this mortal and all the other mortals likely out there. Broly on the Galactic Patrol ship realizes that he's been captured as he attacks, and Miris has to counter him. As Miris is impressed with Broly's power as he's doing well, but he dodges every hit. Broly can't land a single hit, and even with adapting, he's still struggling to hit Miris at all. Miris continues to dodge and dodge, though Broly starts to adapt himself, learning how to dodge similarly to how Miris does, as Miris is impressed that he's able to somewhat copy Ultra Instinct. Now, Broly does have his anger issues, meaning he's never getting completed Ultra Instinct, but I think it's possible for him to get regular Ultra Instinct, as we saw in the manga, where Goku used the Saiyan instincts to actually use Ultra Instinct Sign, which boosted the form's power. So I think it's possible for Broly to at least somewhat learn this technique of Ultra Instinct. As the fight would continue on, Broly tries to escape more and more, and tries to push Miris away, but Miris is just too fast, as he dodges every hit, and eventually Miris is able to actually stop Broly with the stun gun. Gohan has quickly started his training with the Supreme Kais and was able to easily complete all of their training, even pulling out the Z-Sword with how strong he is in this timeline, even learning healing and Kai abilities, as Shin decides to reunite him with Goku as he heard he was strong from Gohan, and decided that it would be a good idea. However, he wasn't able to get any of the other fighters as he didn't deem them worthy due to them not having pure hearts. I mean, they all did a bunch of bad things, even Yamcha. As Gohan is upset, however, he accepts it and at least is happy that he could see his father, as he then decides to get into a spar with his dad. as the spar would begin. Goku used Super Saiyan 2, and it was seemingly even, as Goku had been training for many years in the afterlife after the battle against Cold. However, Gohan actually starts to pull ahead. He has his rage, and he also learned many martial art techniques to close the gap with Krillin in the time chamber, meaning Goku is actually forced back, and forced to use even more power as he then powers up even further beyond to Super Saiyan 3, complimenting Gohan and saying that he's actually really strong before then stepping back into the fight as he's able to easily overpower Gohan. Gohan does his best, and with his rage he is able to somewhat swap blows, but he's just inferior to Goku in every way. So Gohan decides to use even more power and powers up to his Super Saiyan Rage power, which he had been able to get control of after the past 6 years of training, as he's then able to actually get the advantage of Goku, starting to actually win the fight. Goku's surprised by this power as he had never seen it before, as Shin actually senses a little bit of divine ki in Gohan's form, as Gohan starts to pull ahead, slamming many powerful attacks into Goku, as they then get ready for the final clash of the battle, as Goku prepares his own Kamehameha with Gohan doing the same, as they then fire them out. And as the beams fire, they're actually almost evenly matched, well, except that's just sadly not true. At least in the canon it might have been, but here, Gohan's far stronger than Goku, as he's able to easily overpower Goku with his strength and end the battle with Goku being the loser. As Goku would compliment Gohan for how strong he is, and now he knows that Earth will be defended well, as he would then hug Gohan as he has to go since the Supreme Kai's time limit for him to be there is gone. The only reason he even stayed in the original was due to Boo. As we then move to Broly as he talks to Miris and Jacob, as they talk about the situation with Moro, as Broly would tell them the truth about the situation and how it wasn't him who released him, and he was also the one who defeated him in the end, even though he had no control of himself. As Miris, realizing how strong Broly is, decides to train him and try and get him to control that power so he can use it for good and become a member of the Galactic Patrol in the future. As they begin to spar, as we move back to Gohan as he's been training, but the Supreme Kais have finally found Babidi and where he is, where his spaceship is as well, as they then decide to teleport in with Gohan joining them as they teleport to where Babidi's ship is and arrive to the spherical ship. As they decide to go into the ship and try and stop the evil, they would run through the ship. They see many things, but they're able to easily defeat most opponents until they eventually face off against one of Babidi's strongest duos, Pui Pui and Yakon, as Gohan would take them on and try his best to defeat them. However, Gohan realizes that it's way too easy. Pui Pui's just too slow and can't even touch him, while Yakon can land hits with his claw attacks, but Gohan's just able to knock him back with a barrage of punches, before then going after Pui Pui and finishing him with a Kamehameha, before going after Yakon and realizing that he could overwhelm him with energy after realizing his light absorption ability, as he overwhelms him with this power of his Super Saiyan 2's light, as Yakon is then made fiery before then exploding with a big boom. As Dabura would see this, he would be impressed and will want to fight Gohan, as he seems to be extremely powerful, and he'll give enough energy for Boo, as the Demon Realm would suddenly appear as Dabura would begin his battle against Gohan. They would clash blows, as both are incredibly strong warriors who are at the level of a Super Saiyan 2, except Gohan's far beyond that level at this point, already surpassing Dabura even 7 years before in just his regular Super Saiyan form. As Dabura is pushed back and is shocked by the power, he decides to use one of his trump cards, the Stone Spit, as he spits at Gohan, but Gohan's able to easily dodge, and when he sees the ground turn to stone, he would get mad and use more power, realizing that he almost lost, and if it wasn't for him dodging, he would have actually lost the battle, as he decides to go all out on him. And Dabura gets overwhelmed by Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and is pushed back more and more and more, as Dabura tries to get the fight back in his favor. However, he's just unable to, as Gohan would end the battle with a Kamehameha, as Dabura is defeated by the attack. And we continue on as the Demon Realm is suddenly disappearing, as he's in a temple, but he's hit with a kick in the head as Krillin attacks. Gohan tries to fight him in base and is shocked by Krillin betraying them. However, Krillin's just way too powerful, and even with the Z-Sword, he's just unable to keep up at all. His power is just too small as he tries to slash him with many slashing attacks, but Krillin's just unaffected. and easily blocks him, as the Kai would take the sword from him quickly and drop it, as Gohan would go Super Saiyan 2 and fight Krillin. This time it's much more even, as thanks to Krillin's many power-ups and potential links from the Majin boost, he's able to keep up with Gohan, especially with his potential from Dragon Ball Super. While Gohan is still able to keep up with Super Saiyan 2, as it's still pretty strong, and he's already stronger than his canon version by a lot, it's still pretty close, and they clashed fists many times. It was a deadlock, as the two were equally matched, as the two would then step back and decide to use more power, as they would power up with everything they have, Krillin using the Kaioken and Gohan using Super Saiyan Rage, as both would then use their full abilities, red versus blue, very obvious, good versus evil, as they would clash. However, Gohan actually has the advantage here, though it's not by much. Krillin had grown a lot, and with Kaioken being far above even times 1000, he's able to keep up with the Super Saiyan Blue level multiplier of Gohan's Super Saiyan Rage form. Thanks to his skill, he's actually able to match him, and they're able to go blow for blow again, as Gohan is shocked by Krillin's strength. He never knew he could reach this level, as Krillin would then shout out Solar Flare, as he would use Gohan's technique that he had used against his father against him. So as they fill the meter of Boo, Babidi realizes that they have way more than enough energy, actually over 200%, as he gets ready to release the monster, as Krillin and Gohan continue the clash, until suddenly the Orin Temple is vanished, and dust starts to sweep up as a new area would be released, thanks to Boo's release, as he then fights Gohan and Krillin. And they're actually able to dominate him. He can't keep up at all, and even his regeneration is starting to be overcome by their greater power. However, Boo, being forced back like this, tries all of his dirty techniques, like the candy beam. However, they all just don't work. And he decides to do something that he never thought to do before, as he knocks Krillin away with a surprise punch, after then putting his gum all over Gohan. Gohan doesn't understand what's happening, however, he's being absorbed, as Gohan is just unable to stop it since he's just off guard, as he's then fully taken by the goo. This snaps Krillin back to his normal self, realizing that he had failed Goku, and now he would have to face the wrath of an even stronger Boo, as he decides to try and save Gohan. As he uses his Kaioken to fight Boo, but Gohan is just far too powerful. His might is even greater than the canon version of Gohan, thanks to Gohan being so much stronger than even Ultimate Gohan from canon with Super Saiyan Rage, as Krillin is knocked back easily, getting dominated and beaten around by a flurry of punches, as Krillin just tries to fight on and never give up like he used to, like in the Tenkaichi Budokai against Piccolo, but he's just unable to keep up at all. As Krillin lies on the ground, seemingly defeated, he's about to give up until Goku tells him something from the afterlife. "Don't give up, Krillin!" As Gohan is about to attack, he prepares one last move to end it, but Krillin has a flashback as his energy starts to soar, and he remembers something 10 years before training with Roshi, as Roshi was teaching him something, as he dodged his attacks automatically, and was able to actually start getting the advantage even though Krillin was way stronger than him. He continued to dodge and weave, being able to land many hits on Krillin, though in the end he does defeat his master, but he would want to learn what his master did when he was dodging attacks, as Krillin would then learn from his master his final lesson, as he then would return to the present, and his Majin symbol would burn and be destroyed. Here, Krillin awakens, as his power is incredible, as with his fully focused heart and mind and body into battling Gohan. His power has reached a new high, as even Gohan can't keep up, his power being so strong that it ripples Gohan's body every time he strikes him, as he lands a powerful uppercut for then landing a powerful barrage of hits as well, and kicks him with everything he has, as Gohan is just launched back. Gohan's shocked by this power, and he decides that he needs it for himself, as he does his best to absorb Krillin, and Krillin decides to use this to his advantage, as he then gets ready to charge up an attack. As he dodges and weaves Gohan's gum, he eventually gets into position to use something he hasn't used in a while, a powerful attack, the Super Kamehameha, as he would then start up the charge up for the technique, or then getting the opportunity to fire the attack. And as he's about to use the technique gum would cover him as Gohan would absorb him using his gum. As Gohan could feel that his power would increase as he starts laughing, so happy that he had finally won and defeated everybody on Earth, though he's surprised when a giant egg of Gohan inside comes out of him, as suddenly Krillin would come out of his body, having used the Ki Shield to get into Boo, before then firing out a Kamehameha, and this attack being so incredibly powerful that it's even enough to defeat Boo in his entirety and destroy all of him, as Krillin has finally redeemed himself, as Krillin feels happy. And that's where I'm going to leave it off. So what do you think happened to Broly? Where do you think Babidi is? What happened to him? And will the fighters be able to take on Beerus? Find out in the next part of this Mega What If. Thanks for watching this video. Remember to subscribe, like, and press that notification button to see more Dragon Ball content like this.